Hello everyone, Neha here. So now we will study about chapter 5th, separation of substances. In the last video, we have learnt why do we need to separate the substances. In this video, we will learn about different methods of separation. We will learn different methods of separation one by one. So what are the different methods of separation? Handpicking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, filtration and evaporation. So we will learn one by one about these different methods of separation. So let's start now. First method, handpicking. What is handpicking method? We will learn now. What is this? These are rice grains with some impurities. Now, to remove the impurities, what you will do? क्या करेंगे आप? You will pick up impurities by your hand. Yes? You have seen your mother doing this almost every day. Yes, she used to take out the impurities from the rice, pulses. So what is process called? This is called hand picking because she is doing by hand. She is taking out the impurities by her hand. When you are separating two components with your hand, this is called hand picking. So what we have understood now? When pulses, rice have impurities such as stone, dirt, insect, other grains, then we used to remove stone, dirt, insect, other grains with our hand, and this process is known as hand picking. What we call this process? Hand picking. So what is hand picking? Now we will learn the definition. It is a process, it is a separation method used to remove the unwanted or harmful substance from a mixture by using your hand. So what we have learned? When we remove impurities by our hand from a mixture, this process is known as hand picking. Okay, so now answer the question for me. Can hand picking be used to separate all substances from a mixture? क्या hand picking हर टाइप की substance को mixture में निकालने में help करता है? So before answering, look at this picture. This is a picture of a mixture of salt and sugar. ये salt और sugar की mixture का picture है ये. Now can you separate salt and sugar just by hand picking? क्या आप सिर्फ हैंड पिकिंग से सॉल्ट और शुगर को अलग कर सकते हैं? द आंसर इज नो. व्हाई? बिकॉज टू कंपोनेंट मिक्स हियर आर वेरी स्मॉल इन साइज एंड practically it is impossible to separate them by your hand. So now we know that where hand picking can be used. Hand picking can be used when size of impure substances is large of size. If size is very small, as in case of mixture of salt and sugar, we cannot be separated by hand. हम hand से separate नहीं कर सकते. Second, quantity of impurity should be less. क्या होना चाहिए? Less होनी चाहिए quantity impurities की. Because if there is tons and tons of rice full of impurities and you have to separate, आपको उसे separate करना है. Will you able to do by hand? क्या आप अपने hand से कर सकते हैं? Yes? So answer is no. So we have learnt if size of impure substances is very small or there is large quantity of impurities, then hand picking cannot be used. Understood now? Okay. Now we will study another method of separation. Okay, so we have learned about this in previous video. After harvesting, that grains are separated from stalk. Yes, grains are separated from the stalk of plant, but I didn't tell you how these grains are separated from the stalk. Yes, and when grains are separated by stalk from stalk, and why we separate? Because we have to eat the wheat grains, and we feed the straw to animals. It is used as a animal feed. But I didn't tell you that why these grains are separated from stalk. So is used. Why this process is used? Process is used for separating grains from stalk is called, when we separate grain from stalk, then this process is known as threshing. What we call threshing. So after harvesting wheat plant, they are usually dry in the sun for few days. Okay, so for drying of stalk, after that there are two methods of separation which we follow. So on a smaller scale, grains are separated from the stalk by manually beating, and these stalks we separate this stalk manually beating, and this stalk is on a hard surface. This is a stone slab. ये आपका stone slab है. Beating is there, you can see grains are separated from the stalk. Grains are falling down. So on a smaller scale this can be done, but on a large scale, in a very large field, tons and tons of grains, when you have to separate them doing manually, it won't be possible. ये possible नहीं होगा अगर आप turns to turns grain separate करेंगे. So for this we have threshers. क्या इनके लिए threshers used होते हैं, and these are machines. They separate. ये machines हैं जो क्या separate करती हैं? Grains from stalks. And this process of separating grains from stalk is known as threshing. I hope you have understood what is threshing. So threshing is done in two ways, manually and by thresher. Manually it has done on a small scale, and for thresher is a machine. By thresher it has been done on a large scale when we have tons of rice. So let's move now. We have completed second method of separation, that is threshing. So now let's move forward on the third type of separation. We have to study now third type of separation, that is winnowing. Okay, so let's take a look on this picture. This is a wheat plant. In threshing we have separated grains from stalk. Threshing में हमने क्या किया था? हमने grains को stalks में से अलग किया था. But can you see that these grain, आप देख सकते हैं जो grains हैं, are covered with brown covering. इनके ऊपर एक brown covering है, and this brown covering, इस brown covering, grains के ऊपर जो brown covering है, इस brown covering को हम क्या कहते हैं? Husk. Yes, and we do not eat this husk. और आपको पता है हम इसे husk नहीं खाते हैं. हम क्या खाते हैं? We eat the grains. Yes, which are inside these husks. So by the process of winnowing, we can separate grains from husk. Okay, and the grains we eat and husk is used for fodder. So now we have learned what is winnowing. So winnowing is a process, is it a method of separation used to separate heavier and lighter component of a mixture by wind or by blowing air, and it is used by farmer to separate husk from grain. Okay, I will make you understand by a diagram. So let's come to a diagram. Here you are seeing a woman standing on a raised platform, and wind is blowing in this direction. What is woman is doing? क्या कर रही है ये women? She is standing on the raised platform and she is holding this content, and is this contained is tilt manner. ये tilt manner में है. Yes, and she is allowing the grain. ये allow कर रही है grain to fall down. Yes, is it right now? So now what will happen? क्या होगा? Wind is blowing in this direction. The lighter particle husk. In this, yes, the lighter particle is here husk. Lighter हल्का particle क्या है? Lighter particle यहाँ क्या है? Husk. तो in this case, so lighter particle will carry it away by wind. Lighter particle carry it away हो जाएगा wind से. And the heavier particle, जो particle heavy है, heavy क्या है यहाँ पे? Grain है, वो क्या हो जाएगा यहाँ पे? Settle down हो जाएगा. और ये यहाँ क्या बना लेगा? ये form कर लेगा heap. The lighter particle, जो husk है lighter particle, will move in this direction. ये इस direction में move करेगा. It will be carried away by wind and form a heap at some distance. Some distance पे heap बना लेगा. Whereas heavier, जो heavier particle है grains, ठीक है, being heavier, ये heavy होने के कारण it will settle down here and form a heap. ये settle हो जाएगा और ये क्या बना लेगा? Heap बना लेगा like this. You can see here in the picture. So this is how by the process winnowing, action by wind, heavier and lighter component are separated. ये heavier lighter component आपस में अलग हो गए. Lighter means husk and heavier grain. So now come back to the definition. Now you will understand winnowing is a method of separation which is used to separate heavier and the lighter component of a mixture. How? By wind and by blowing air. And it is used, who used? It is used by farmer. Why they used? To separate husk from grain. So okay, maybe you have understood now. So before moving on the next method, we will just one more time we will revise so that you will not become, you don't get confused. So what is threshing? In threshing we separate grains from stalk. Okay, how? By two methods: beating it manually on a hard surface or with the help of thresher. But what we do in the winnowing? In winnowing we actually separated husk from these grains by the action of wind. Yes, so now I hope you all have understood. So now next move to the next method, that is a sieving. The next method of separation which we have studied, sieving. This is sieving and you have seen your mother doing almost every day. Yes, you have seen your mother doing almost every day when she makes chapati for you. You have seen your mother doing this. So what is this? And nowadays it is done by machines on a large scale. ठीक है, अगर बहुत सारे ये sieving, अगर बहुत सारे आटे को sieve करना होता है तो ये machines के द्वारा किया जाता है on a large scale. So what is sieving? Sieving is a simple technique for separating particles of different size. And sieving is used when component of mixture have different size. Sieving तभी use होगा जब आपको यूज़ करना है कि आपको पार्टिकल्स को अलग करना है जिनके साइज डिफरेंट है. ओके, सो सपोज योर मदर इज sieving आटा, fine particle of flour or atta will pass through the sieve. Yes, and any impurities which are larger then the size of the atta remain on the sieve, वो sieve पे ही रह जाएगा. So we use only when the component of the mixture have different sizes. Similarly, you can see in this picture a sieve is used to separate soil from a larger, yes, soil from a larger stone particle. So the final stone particle will pass the sieve. वो क्या होगा? sieve से pass हो जाएगा and the larger stone particle will remain here only. Similarly, you must have seen these type of sieves are used during construction site also. Yes, so where they are used to separate fine sand particle from a stone. So a final sand particle will pass through the sieve and the stone particle will remain here only. Yes, here only they will remain. So okay, now so I hope you have understood that sieving can be used only when particles are of different size. So here we have learned, in this video we have learned different types of methods, and in the next video we will learn more methods of separation, different methods of separation. We have learned here threshing, winnowing, handpicking, sieving, and more methods we will learn in next video. Yes, thank you.